Are you not feeling well?
Apologies, it seems like my memories got the better of me. I tried my best to suppress the power of Hydro within myself, but it seems like it still caused the emotions within the Fountain of Lucine to boil over. Due to my negligence, the overflow of emotions and memories must have affected you as well. Are you all—
Wow. The Hydro Dragon is... Anyways, the last time we came here, the Traveler only heard...
It is as you said. It is not only the fountain. I can sense emotions from all waters in Fontaine. Rivers, lakes, and even the rain.
That sounds awful.
But I rarely ever do anything like this. Emotions carried by water are always chaotic and disconnected. Which ones? It's fine. I prefer not to speak of those memories. It was a coincidence, but perhaps it is a good thing that you should now understand why I believe there to be a conspiracy behind all this.
Paimon, don't leave Paimon out of the conversation. Paimon...
Then let us get back to the point. While I was investigating the I did not sense too much hatred towards me within its community. I don't know what caused this to happen. However, I did find some resentment directed toward...
Oh! Didn't we read about...
You've read about it. In that case, the resentment...
Huh? What are you doing here? I was just about to look for you at the Palais Mermonia.
Neuvillette! Nice to see you again!
I've heard some things, but I'm not purpose. Rumors are abroad that someone's scheming against Melusines, and that you're... So I told the Spina di Rosula to keep an eye out for leads. We've had unfamiliar faces showing themselves at the Fleuve Cendre lately.
Thank you. Where did you hear about all this?
The Chief Justice out on investigation, accompanied by the Traveler from afar. No matter how you talked to Kiara, but didn't ask her to keep things secret. People curious to know asked around for information.
So that's what Charlotte meant.
Indeed. I did not expect that this could...
You know, anyway, any progress with the...
The suspects who threatened Kiara might have to do with a certain smuggling case. But it is... We are planning to return to the Palais Mermonia to revisit some details and identify the scent...
All right, then I'll round up the Spina di Rosula and wait for my word. Ta-ta!
Neuvillette, do you think there'll be any problems now?
I have already considered that possibility, and I do not think that there will be any. As a matter of fact, once the word gets out, what is more important is how the case is perceived by the public. 400 years ago, they chose to side with the old regime and direct... I hope the same won't happen again.
Strange. What are these people doing out on the streets so late at night? Did something happen? Let's take a look around.
Have you heard? Someone's plotting against a Melusine. This is 100% the truth. Even the Chief
What? That's it! Who's been threatening Melusines? Show yourself!
Our enemies are lurking in the shadows and won't easily reveal themselves. But no amount of hiding...
That's exactly what I wanted to say. The guards have already begun to think about how much we owe them. Now that they're in danger, how can we just sit back and...
Everyone, please stay alert to your surroundings from now on. If you see any suspicious persons, report...
It feels like you've been following me this whole time. Did something happen?
We were informed that. Nope. We just finished our ship.
Have you had dinner yet? Why don't we check out the new items at the dessert shop?
This isn't a good time to be...
Come on. Don't act tough. I bet you're hungry too.
All right.
You shouldn't ever skip meals, especially if you have another shift scheduled for later.
I heard even Neuvillette's keeping an eye on the situation. This is the perfect chance to get promoted. We gotta make sure we give it all we've got.
Seriously? Were you planning to shirk your duties if
Relax, I was just playing. We've worked together for years now. If something happened to them, I'd be haunted by...
That's more like it. We should stand guard until the criminal... Come and fight me instead, you...
Have you heard? Even the Special Patrol came to help.
Shh! Look! Isn't that Neuvillette?
Looks like there's nothing to worry about.
This is true.
So, wanna go?
No, I should stay where I am. My appearance could... Let us stick to our plan and return to the Palais Mermonia. The smuggling case was solved by the joint forces of the list of involved suspects should be...
What does it say?
The principal offenders Domenico, Inika, Yuna, and others have been caught. Those with close connections or mutual interests with the offenders, but who did not. Among them, surveillance of Essin has ceased on account of his good behavior.
So many names. Is the one who sent that...
Yes, there is something suspicious about Essin to be... It seems like he's closely related to the core members of the smuggling...
Monsieur Neuvillette, someone claiming to be from the Spina di Rosula he said, and I quote, "We have located the suspect."
Huh? How did Navia find them so quickly? We've only just...
I too am perplexed. The cafe isn't...
Hey, Navia, we're here! Whoa. Check out all these people!
These are the people who have had recent dealings at the Marechaussee Phantom. They're usually hidden in the Fleuve Cendre, but I sent for someone...
Invite them over.
Exactly. Now, I heard there's great coffee here, and so I asked them if they'd like to come and have some.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to be guests of the Spina di Rosula.
I've wanted to have a meetup like this for ages.
Something feels off. But, oh well. Let's get back to business. Is there anyone called Essin here?
Yes, that's me.
You're Essin?
Yes, monsieur.
Did you write that threatening letter to...
I did, but I was just...
Orders from whom?
Domenico. He was my boss. I couldn't disobey...
Domenico? Where is he now?
The fortress of Meropide.
Well, I'm afraid even the Spina would have trouble. Looks like you'll have to make the trip yourselves.
You've done more than enough. I'm extremely...
Leave the formalities for later. You should find Domenico first. If he really is the one setting up the conspiracy, it'd be better...
All right, then. Let's head to the...
Welcome to the Fortress of Meropide, dear esteemed...
We're back! Oh, and a greeting from none other than the Duke himself!
This isn't anything new. I figured you had important matters to discuss. Let's assume we've gone through the pleasantries and cut right... I do remember a thing or two about Domenico. He once attempted to round up the other inmates.
Who does this guy think he is?
He once attempted to, I said, meaning that it was over before it even started. And now he's threatening Melazines, is he? To be honest, Domenico doesn't seem like much of a conspirator. The fact that the three of you bothered to personally investigate...
He's got the same concerns we do.
I'm concerned about this incident because something similar has occurred in the past.
That's an easy one.
Oh, did I hear someone say Melazine? What happened? Sijuin! Yeah, and we're investigating. The person... Really? Is Kiara gonna be a...
There's no need to worry. Clarande is protecting her as we speak.
Well, that's great. But if the criminal's still... Is there anything you can do about this?
Head nurse. Do you require me to personally deal with...
Ridesley.
Okay, I get it. I'll bring Domenico to you.
Think of it as more of a humble request. I'm here on my own accord, not to formally thanks for the trouble. Consider me in your debt.
Whoa! If Paimon were the Duke, Paimon would take this chance to ask for something really important.
Well, were I still a criminal, I'd probably ask for a lighter sentence. But I'm sure Monsieur Neuvillette would reject that. But enough jokes. I'll look for Domenico and make yourselves at home. Our dear head nurse has mentioned you quite a few times.
Please come with me to the infirmary. And watch your step. There's some pretty dark areas, so make sure you don't trip over anything.
Did Neuvillette just walk?
Now that I think about it, I can leave this place soon. Huh?
Please rest here for a moment. Oh, and would anyone like anything to drink? Paimon's not that. Thirst is a warning sign that you're dehydrated, which means you have to drink up even. I'll bring you some tea. I'm sure you'll have a lot to talk.
Typical Sijun. Concerned about everyone's health. Why aren't you two saying anything?
You noticed them too. The badges they wore on their chests looked quite
Familiar? But if both of you say so, let's go ask them about it.
That's not a bad idea.
Boring! Anything you need? Oh, this? Are you interested in joining?
What's that?
We have a very long history, going back as far as we have never had many members throughout our history, nor do we have much of a reputation. Helping each other is our purpose. At the same time,
Sounds like a pretty neat one.
all we want is to defend ourselves, but people won't give us a hard time.
Interested in joining the mutual aid? If you'd like to learn more, here's our flyer. Our slogan may have evolved over the centuries, but here, this book is for you. You're welcome to come.
You two look kind of It's the symbol of the mutual aid. From what I've heard, it's based on something called a Medal of Peace. I've never seen one of those medals. The first president of our network was an amazing All of us have a lot of
We should have gathered enough information. Let's head back and talk to Neuvillette.
Did you manage to gather?
The people who wore the badge, according to them, the badge's design was inspired by the Medal of Peace.
I personally crafted 2 of them myself. Carol's medal was destroyed in a fire. The only one that remained should belong to Vautrin.
Oh, so the network was inspired by...
Monsieur Neuvillette, His Grace has requested your presence in his...
All right. Let us talk to him first.
Allow me to introduce this fine gent. Why don't you explain everything to him?
Neuvillette? What do you want? What are you gonna do?
Calm down. I merely want to ask you a few questions. Was it your idea to send that letter? Essin has already confessed.
That idiot!
Let me ask this another way. It was your idea.
Yeah.
Who is pulling your...
What? You're not trying to frame me for something I haven't done, are you?
It's best if you realize the gravity of your situation. The Chief Justice of Fontaine has been I assume your previous attempt to incite unrest at the Fortress of Meripede has something to do with this as well.
I admit I acted on impulse. I'll tell you the truth. But before that, you must ensure my safety.
I can do that.
You see, we're all reasonable people here.
I only intended to do some small business at first. Someone contacted me about delivering some goods and promised me a generous sum of more in return. After making a few trips, I was suddenly approached by the Marechaussee Phantom. They accused me of smuggling prohibited items, and I was put on trial. But I refused to accept any of that. The ignorant can be rightfully absolved from guilt, right? Well, I suspect...
And then you decided to take revenge on the Melazines?
My initial target was Neuvillette. Everyone in the fortress of Meripede was declared... But for some reason, no one wanted to team up with me. That mutual aid network in particular. What did those... In the end, I had to redirect my focus onto Melazines to salvage things. I recall that Kiara was the one who confiscated my goods for inspection. So I asked one of the more... But the letter was in fact addressed to Essa. I requested that he write a threat letter to Kiara and force it to...
Am I to assume that the claims you've made are your...
No.
Is it true that all members involved in the smuggling...
Yes.
Sigewinne, please take him back to the detention center. I'll deal with him later. So, Monsieur Neuvillette, you were concerned that there...
Yes. I experienced a similar incident in the past.
And how long ago was this incident?
More than 400...
You might be overthinking that. Time can change a lot of things.
What do you mean?
400 years ago, you and the Melazines you brought to Fontaine were the outliers. But in the present day, if someone were to threaten the safety of the Melazines, people wouldn't just sit back and do nothing.
That's right! We saw lots of people standing up for
Monsieur Neuvillette, the Melazines are a species you introduced to Fontaine. When people refused to place their trust in Melazines, it was because they were still on the fence about you. They're unfamiliar. For almost 500 years, you've conducted every trial with impartiality. You made the right judgment each time, regardless of whatever nonsense went on. People no longer have any reservations about you and even consider you a symbol of the law. Right now, your every decision will impact all of Fontaine. In other words, you've gradually transformed the whole nation.
Paimon gets it now. No wonder no one wanted to join.
I am undeserving of such high compliments. From my perspective, it isn't anything special or worthy of praise. I'm simply It is unnecessary to hold me in...
There's no need to be so modest. The current state, you're no longer that outsider you were before. Even if you wish to...
I must say that you've made a fair point. Thank you for clearing my doubts. Now that the...
Huh? You're leaving?
And so soon, too? What?
Thank you for the offer, but I know how this place works. While some are here to redeem themselves, there will inevitably be the less time I spend here, the better. My presence could...
In that case, I'll have to insist. I still have...
Please, go ahead.
The first is about the guard who helped Domenico send that letter.
Ah, I know of what you speak. The guard was indeed deployed from the Palais Memoria's staff. However, as I mentioned earlier, I visited today on personal business. Therefore, I leave that matter in your hands.
Well, that makes things a lot easier. Hey now, don't let your imagination run wild. Those from up there have a tendency to sympathize with others. However, down here, such thoughts will put you at high risk. I'll have a chat with the guard and remind him to take precautions in the future.
I see no issues with that.
Great! That's one thing out of the way. What's the other thing you wanted to say?
The other thing was born from my own sense of curiosity. Now, I've heard that you investigated the mutual aid...
Yep. Neuvillette thought their badges looked familiar.
I noticed the small gang as well when I first took over the fortress of Meripede. They were not great in number. I've looked into their founder, Vautrin, who once stood trial and was sentenced to imprisonment in the fortress. According to existing documentation, Vautrin remained disciplined throughout his imprisonment. In other words, how he presented himself in prison was very different from...
What? During his trial, I could sense that his feelings were complicated. He appeared to be full of resentment.
Perhaps he had been putting on
an act?
Neuvillette and Vautrin had a close relationship as superior and subordinate. Vautrin must have known that thus, the more resentment he displayed, and to those who had been sitting on the fence, Vautrin's... That's all from me. Does anyone else?
I don't have anything to say. Well then, let us head back.
Please, take care.
That trial is something I rarely bring up in conversation, but I have always felt deep regret for what happened to both Carol and Vautrin. The words he spoke in court often replay in my mind, as if urging me on to do something.
But Risley said he never resented you, right? Isn't that a good thing?
I believe I now understand what he wanted to tell me. I feel conflicted about those words. How should I describe it? Surprise, relief, fear, and regret. But this blend of emotions has led me to finally understand some things. I would like to hear your thoughts, too. What do you think of me?
Paimon agrees with everything Risley said. As Chief Justice, every single one of your trials makes an impact. Hey!
What I really think is, every trial you've ever judged has left its impression on you.
As I said, I find it difficult to express my emotions because I cannot fully understand myself. But I trust your judgment. Since some time ago, I have begun to notice the changes that have occurred. These changes were not due to any specific occurrence, but I will try to contemplate this further.
Oh, huh? It's raining! Oh no, Paimon forgot to bring an umbrella! Come on, let's hurry before it rains harder!
It's raining again? I've had enough of this weather.
There go my travel plans.
Did you read the news this morning? Quick, put away everything on the clothesline.
When is this rain going to stop?
Hydro Dragon, don't cry!
They're planning to reanimate the monster. We have to report this to the Chief Justice.
The Fortress of Meripede. It's a good place for me.
He owes me so many answers.
Neuvillette? You could say he's the real symbol of Fontaine's justice.
Watch him closely. He could be trouble.
How can two completely different species possibly coexist?
Who's been threatening Melusines? Show yourself!
You will see much in the human world, from the delightful to the depressing. And one day, when you have dwelt among humanity long enough, you will be placed to bring judgment over all as a spokesperson for Fontaine's past. Good morning, Monsieur Neuvillette! The rainy season's almost over! The skies are supposed to clear in a few days!
I hope you find time to enjoy the sunny days ahead.
Is the matter resolved?
Yep, we found the person who sent that threat
threatening letter. Risley said he'd keep a close eye on him so that—
Oh, that's...
Sorry for dragging you all into this.
There's no need to... Yeah, you didn't drag us in. We got involved of our own...
by the way—
At the Palais Mermonia, more than 50 people offered to protect her. Some even hid within the bushes till I was worried that the excess of protection would make her feel uneasy. So I asked her to stay inside.
Well, now it looks like the dust has to celebrate this joyous occasion. Monsieur Neuvillette. That's not how you celebrate.
I will
Real?
Of course. My schedule is full for the following weeks, but I should be available next month. Come up with questions during the intervening days, and I will answer them to the best of...
Yes!
Now, if you'll excuse me, I must head back to the Palais and issue a communique to publicize our investigation. I hope it will assuage the concerns of all.
Oh, an exclusive interview! Am I dreaming?
Don't let anything hold you back.
I agree. He'll decline any question he can't answer anyway, so you might as well give all of them a shot.
Kiara? It's quite all right. I'm here to tell you that we have caught the...
Neuvillette? Sorry, I accidentally... And thank you too, Traveler and Big Sis Paimon. Everyone's been so...
Do you
Thank you,
remember
Monsieur.
Domenico? He was...
Let me think. I can't By the way, I saw Carol in my dreams just now. In my dream, she looked really happy. She held my hand and said, I can't remember what our dreams were anymore.
I can sense your joy. It is indeed a delight.
Monsieur Neuvillette. Oh, I almost forgot. I promised to model for Alof.
Of course. Off you...
See you next time.
See you next time. I really can't fathom what goes on in her head.